Forms are super useful if you collate data manually, for example via email or PDF, or even if you've set up an Excel template for your users to enter data into that you then have to convert into a layout suitable for use with formulas and pivot tables. Excel forms don't require any complex VBA coding, and those entering the data can access the form from a web browser or any device without the need to even open Excel. They present a clean data entry front end based on questions and fields that you set up. They look super professional and they're easy to use on any device. The data entered in the form is placed in an Excel file in the perfect tabular format, ready for further analysis. Now there are 3 entry points for creating your own forms. The first is for those who don't have an Office 365 or OneDrive for Business account. Simply go to forms.office.com, sign in with your Microsoft 365 school or work credentials, or a Microsoft account like Hotmail, Live, or Outlook.com. Now if you don't already have one of those, then sign up for a free Outlook.com email account and you'll be good to go. Then click on the New Form button to get started. For Office 365 or OneDrive for Business users, you're better off either using OneDrive. Here, click on the New drop-down and then Forms for Excel. Or Office 365 users can open a workbook in Excel Online. And then on the Insert tab, we've got Forms and New Form. Now my form is going to be used to capture daily sales data from 4 stores. So I'll start by giving the form a name, Sales Tracking. The description is optional. Now I can create the questions, clicking the Add New button. Now because forms can also be used to create questionnaires or surveys, we've got 8 different question types to choose from, everything from choice through to Net Promoter Scores. However, for collecting data, you'd only use choice, text, and date, and maybe file upload. Now the first question I want to ask is the date that the data relates to. So we'll choose date. Give your question a name. I'll just call it date. It's fairly self-explanatory. It's going to give me a date picker, so I don't need to do anything more other than check the toggle to make this question required. And I'll click Add New for my next question. I need a field for the store name, so I'll go with choice. Now the choice question is handy if you want people to choose from a list. You can think of this as data validation. This way you can ensure the data is entered uniformly with consistent spelling and case. You can add more as required. These are names of towns near where I live, and they're commonly mispronounced by tourists. So if you watch to the end, I'll let you know how they're actually pronounced. For now, I'm going to come down here. I want this to be a drop-down list. The default setting is radio buttons, but if you click on the ellipsis, we can select drop-down list here. It's picked up that it's required based on my previous question. We're going to leave it at that, and I'll click Add New. Next, I want to capture the sales values. So I'm going to use the text field. And here, I want this to be restricted to a number, so clicking on the ellipsis, I can choose restrictions. The default is number, but if we click on the drop down, you can see there are other options. I obviously want number, so we'll leave it at that. Now I need 3 more numeric fields, so I'm just going to click the Copy Question button to duplicate that. Now my questions are all set up, I can add a theme up here. It presents me with some ideas, and if we scroll down we can choose from some standard colors or some other templates. We can also customize the theme, choosing our own image or our own color scheme. I'm going to go back and go with this one. It kind of relates to my sales data information. Next we should preview it to make sure it looks okay. And this is how it's going to look for the user entering the data. I can see all my questions are there. So I'll click the back button. I'm happy with all of that. Now I'm ready to share my form, so I just click the share button. Here I can choose whether I want anyone with the link to respond or only people inside my organization. That is only people on the same Microsoft tenant as me. I'm going to choose anyone with the link. And then we have 4 options for sharing. We can copy the link, we can get a QR code, and that's handy for embedding in PowerPoint presentations or other documents. We can embed it in a web page, or we can email it. I'm just going to copy the link. So click copy, tells me it's ready for me to paste it. Before I do, I wanted to show you here that we can also get a link to duplicate it. So if we wanted to create a form similar to this, we could simply duplicate it. Or if we wanted to collaborate the building of this form with others, we can get a link to view and edit, and we can collaborate with other people inside of our Office 365 tenant. So I'll paste the link into an incognito window in another browser and press enter. So I can select my date. I can choose from the store names. By the way, this is Mooloolaba, Blyvely, Kapalaba and Gympie, often mispronounced as Mooloolaba, Bleeblee, Kapalaba and Gympie. So we'll go with Mooloolaba. I'll enter some sales data. And I'm just pressing tab to move from each field, and then I can press submit. And I get a response to tell me it's received my entries, and I can submit another response if I want to. And let's go back to the forms. I go to forms at forms.office.com. You can see here's my new form, and here's some I created earlier. You can see there's one response to my new form. That's the one I just entered. Let's take a look though at one of the forms I created earlier. It's got a few more responses. On the responses tab, you can see we get some high-level analysis of the results, and that's handy if you've created a survey. But if you're using the form to collect data that you want to analyze, then you'll want to open the Excel file. Now, here's the clincher. If you created your form in forms.office.com, as I did with this one earlier, then clicking this Open in Excel button will download the responses up to that point in time, but the Excel file you download is no longer linked to the form. So any new responses that come in won't be included. You'll need to download the file again to get the updates. However, if we go back to Forms, here's one I created using OneDrive for Business. And if we go to the Responses tab, you can see the Open in Excel button includes the cloud icon. And this tells me that I created this form using either OneDrive for Business or Excel Online, and it's saved in the cloud. So when I open this Excel file, it retains the link to the form, and any new forms that are completed are automatically included in that Excel file, whether I've got it open or not. And that's really handy if you have analysis or charts linked to the table, and you'll see them update real time, which is cool. If we take a look at the Excel file that you can download or open, depending on how you created it, you can see the first 5 columns contain some standard data. We've got the ID. This is an automatically generated unique identifier for each record, that is, each form completed. We've got the start time. This is the time the form was opened, and the completion time, which is the time the form was submitted. And you could use these 2 fields to calculate how long it takes to complete the form. The email and name columns will collect data from users in your Office 365 tenant if they're logged in when they enter data in the form. Otherwise, you just get anonymous for those not logged in, or for those outside of your organization. And the remaining columns contain the responders' answers to your questions. Now, it's really important that you don't mess with this table by adding, removing columns or rows or sorting, etc., because it could corrupt the connection between the Excel file and the form. If you want to modify the table for analysis, then you should open a new Excel workbook and use Power Query to grab this form data into that new workbook, where you can clean it and add rows and columns and do whatever you want so that it's ready for your analysis. Now, keep in mind that Forms is currently in preview, so if you have any feedback for the Excel team, be sure to send a smile or a frown, and if you have any suggestions, you can add them to Excel's user voice. Well, I hope you can make use of Excel Forms. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more, and why not share it with your friends who might also find Forms useful. Thanks for watching.